What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I am Officer Veritas.
Sworn in this past week.
Yeah, I took the oath. I don't know. I think is that the Boy Scouts?
The hippopotamus oath.
Oh no, wait. Never mind. That's the
Yeah. I volunteer as tribute.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I can tell, this will be the least contentious thing I ever say. I am more qualified to be an officer than most officers out there. Get in the comments.
Yeah,
Tell me
dude,
right now.
we're 60 seconds in, bitch. Let's go.
Obviously, I'm kidding, but I had I finally had my interview with
that's
with
right.
Sergeant Curtis. Now it ended up being 2 interviews because I was basically like did the whole thing where I emailed like 100 fucking content creators, and he's the only one. Donut operator just responded with like, man, if I only had time.
Yeah,
and then
fair.
Never again. Sergeant Curtis reacted and responded, not reacted.
Yeah.
He responded, we went back and forth, and I basically was just like, bro, I just need like an hour. Just an hour.
Yeah.
Just a measly hour of your time. And after like 2 or 3 weeks of him being like, next week, maybe next week, finally he's like, I can do like 30 minutes in like an hour. But like my electrician is gonna come in like halfway through, and like I'm like, brother, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
Ended up getting like a solid 35 minutes before he had to bounce. And dude, I gotta say, man, it's like Floyd Mayweather has this saying. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's basically like you don't know what it's like. Like you can do all the planning you want or whatever, but like once you get into the ring, like everything changes.
Yeah.
And
no plan survives contact with the enemy type shit.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was talking about police interaction stuff, and Sergeant Curtis, one of his responses was like, you know, you can be Monday morning quarterback all you want, but you don't know what it's like until you step into the ring. And it's like a meta sort of commentary thing where it's like, it's the same way with interviews, man. Like,
yeah,
the number of like bullet points I had, like clear bullet points for all the things like I wanted to ask,
for sure.
And how it's like I get through 1.5 of the questions, and then like I have to respond to some of the other things he says.
Yeah,
it veers off topic, and it's like, and then all of a sudden time's up, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I ended up being like, hey, thanks. You know, we had a great conversation, but you know, there's some things that like basically, like, I don't want. It would be really easy for me to like show a clip, have him make a comment from like the interview, because he doesn't know where I'm going to be juxtaposing his commentary with video, you know, right?
Yep.
So, and then have me comment on it and be like, you know, this is why I disagree and this is why it's stupid or whatever. And like, it would be so easy to do that.
Yeah. But
like, I'm not interested in like just like dunking on somebody or anything like that. So I was like, I feel like there's more here.
Yeah.
And like, I want to flesh out some of this back and forth, because like on a lot of things, I feel like we're on the same page. There's just like, a difference of sort of perspective.
For sure.
And so he was like, I can do 25 minutes in 10 minutes.
When the electrician leaves?
This was like 4 days later or something. And I'm like in my pajamas. I'm like,
I'll be there. Yeah.
So we ended up doing another one, and we were able to tie up a few bows.
Yeah.
Create a few knots in
other
places.
Yeah. I feel like that's the difference between an interview and a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Where like you want a conversation because your goal is to get to like what he really believes. And in order to get what he really believes about these things, there has to be like groundwork to be done. There has to be like a framework. There has to be an understanding of what we're talking about here, so that I can get to what you think, not as a reaction to what you think I think about what I think you think, but like we can just actually talk about what you think. And that's different than an interview where it's like, I have these 10 questions and I'm really just looking for maybe a sound bite about each of these questions. So you come in with all the questions, and then as soon as the conversation goes, you want to chase it. You want to chase that natural conversation, because what you're looking for is like a real honest understanding of what he's doing. I've done that so many times, whether I'm talking to like a dev of a game or whatever. It's like 10 minutes in, it's just like we're off the rails, but I want to spend an hour and a half off the rails, because it ends up being a more helpful conversation depending on what your goals are. If you were just trying to get those clips to put in about these different things, then you would, just keep it on track, go from question to question, but that's not what you're after.
If I was a better interviewer, I waste a lot of time trying to like set up a question, because I'm like in the head of the other person, thinking about like, how are they going to interpret the question that I have the bullet point? Like if I just read the bullet point, they're going to think it's coming from a certain place. And I'm like, so part of it is like, maybe I need to do that ahead of time. I don't know if it's planning or if it's like, I just need to stick to, like maybe the reaction is to the question is going to be more interesting.
Is telling. Than,
I don't know. I need to get better at it though. I'm dog shit at interviews for sure. But like I got stun locked like instantly with my first question. And it was so funny because like his answer, I was like, wow, I didn't like expect that. And his answer, it was kind of funny. His response was almost like, yeah, man, I didn't even like study. But it was like, I wasn't impressed with how right he was.
Yeah.
But I think he thought maybe that I was like, wow, I'm impressed. But I was like, bro, I don't even know. So, I'm like, I'll put you on the spot here. I wouldn't expect you to have like the right answer to this, but like what is an auditor to you?
Somebody that comes to make sure something was done the right way.
That's actually like, that is like the probably dictionary definition of an auditor, whether it's like IRS auditor.
Yes, because that's what I was saying. I was trying to go wider than in this case. I was like, if I hear an auditor is coming, then I'm assuming they're coming to check if somebody did something the right way. So if you say, well, what's a First Amendment auditor? I would say it's probably somebody reviewing some sort of case or interaction between law enforcement and a human to make sure that the First Amendment was upheld the right way, based on what the person understands about their rights and based on what the officer understands about their role and as the officer.
Interesting. Okay. So that's already, I think, like better than his answer, but I'm like keying into something that I think is interesting. So when you said, so like who is the auditor?
That I don't know. I mean, my assumption would be if somebody, like, if I heard the term First Amendment auditor, I would assume that person was a part of like a police force or a government agency that was there, because like, I guess, or a YouTuber, right? Because like, who's like an IR, like somebody auditing my finances isn't going to be lower than an IRS person. They're going to be an IRS person or somebody above an IRS person because my taxes got all fucked up. So it's like, if there is a point where somebody is auditing something involving law enforcement, my assumption would be they are either law enforcement or like an agency above local law enforcement. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but that's like where my brain goes.
Yeah, so like, I guess I'll tell you what a First Amendment auditor sort of is, and then I will explain what his answer is, and maybe that juxtaposition will be interesting. I don't know, but basically, in the simplest way possible, the most basic auditor/audit is a civilian guy, you or I.
Oh, okay.
A normal person walks into City Hall, takes out a camera, and waits for someone to call the cops. Waits for an employee sitting behind the desk to feel uncomfortable and to call the police.
Yeah.
Or for a security guard to come over and grab you by the arm. Or for some citizen to say, hey, there's a guy videotaping, I feel uncomfortable. And then they call the cops. Or a common one is to stand in the sidewalk outside of a police station and just film the police cars driving in and out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a First Amendment audit.
So it's more of like a spot check. They're not reviewing something that has happened. They are trying to make something happen so that they can be first party witness to it, and then
Yep.
Gotcha. Understood.
Exactly. So there is like a little bit of a distinction between like the IRS is coming in to like review
my taxes
files. Yeah. You know, you could almost think about it like if in that scenario, this would be like the IRS like selling you something and then like double checking if you pay the taxes. The metaphor doesn't exactly hold 1-to-1, but
I see what you mean.
It's so. And now, of course, this has turned into a whole sort of genre of effectively like content creation.
Yeah.
Where one of the videos that I saw that, in terms of First Amendment auditing and following the law and dealing with the police and all the stuff legally, everything they did was fine, kosher.
Mm-hmm.
And the police were, in the case that I saw, largely in the wrong, didn't understand the details, didn't understand the laws, whatever. They didn't end up arresting the people or anything like that, but the whole interaction, there was definitely like some violation of rights. But it was one of the most cringeworthy things ever because it was basically two old fat guys with like iPhones on one of these things walking up to a Planet Fitness, going up to the window and just like zooming in on like people exercising.
Zoinks.
Technically, like if you are in public, or if you are in an area that's like viewable from a public area, not counting like your home.
Yes.
Because homes have there's like a reasonable expectation of privacy. Like, you know, you can't do that in someone's
you can't film in someone's
window.
Yeah.
But if you do it towards a bank,
it's technically not illegal.
Yeah. Like imagine, so technically you could be doing a constitutional audit if you were standing on the sidewalk next to a Bank of America, open carrying a pistol, holding a can of a bottle of IBC root beer, but wrapped in like a brown paper bag, filming a bank, and when the bank employee comes out to talk to you, you ask them about their vault and like the layout of their bank. That's almost exactly what one of the First Amendment auditors did.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now, everything they did, they didn't break any laws.
Yeah.
But what
that's insane.
Now, again, there's a whole spectrum of auditors, and it's funny because part of what like one of the things that Sergeant Curtis had sort of talked about was like he was saying how he has a problem with a lot of the tactics and strategies and things that auditors employ.
Yeah.
Things like I described to you, things that I wouldn't feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Even though I believe that it's like my constitutional right. There's a difference between, I was trying to paint a picture for him where I'm like, there's a spectrum of what's within the law.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you know what? You can almost think about it like one of those 2x2, like
a
Punnett Square.
Yeah.
Where it's basically legal and illegal, and socially acceptable, socially unacceptable.
Yeah.
Taking photos of your friend at the beach, socially acceptable and legal. Taking photos of a stranger at the beach, legal, socially unacceptable. Yeah. Taking photos of someone's child at the beach, a lot more socially unacceptable and probably still legal though.
Yeah.
And so like I should probably just make like one of these 2x2 things and like put a bunch of dots. Yeah. And there's like a square where there's auditor tactics where there's, I would say like more than half of the things, like in order for auditors to be auditors, it needs to be all of these legal, but
socially
like
unacceptable.
Socially unacceptable, or you could say legally unacceptable in the minds of ignorant police officers who don't know the laws.
Yeah.
Like, you can't stand out here and film the police.
Yeah.
You know, because like you might be doing like a 9/11 or whatever. Like every cop thinks that they have the Unabomber. Like
doing a 9/11.
Yeah. So you have to like push the boundaries because what you need, like a perfect audit situation would be, let's say you're standing outside the police station. Someone calls the police, that officer comes out, and the officer says, "What are you doing?" And the guy says, "None of your business."
Mm-hmm.
And the officer says, "Okay, do you mind if I see your ID?" And they go, "Yeah, I do mind."
Mm-hmm.
And they go, "Okay, so you're not going to tell me what you're doing?" And they say, "I don't answer questions." And they go, "Okay, sir, have a great day." You've just passed a First Amendment audit.
Yeah.
But in all of the auditing videos, I can't say like 80% of the time because there's no way to know.
Because it doesn't percolate to the top of the audited videos unless it's a bad one.
No, sometimes the ones that pass, very often the ones that are like passed, those get posted. Now they don't necessarily like go viral.
Yeah.
But they do get posted because like that's, you want to be able to like celebrate when the like thank you. But the vast majority of the auditing videos that I see that aren't like giga cringeworthy or whatever, well, even those, the cop comes up and says, "What are you doing?" And they say, "I don't have to tell you." And the officer says, "Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I got a call. You're being suspicious. You have to tell me what you're doing." And they go, "No, I don't." And then they get pissed off. Their ego kicks in and they go, "Give me your ID." And the person says, "I don't have to give you my ID." And the officer is like, "What the fuck?" They get even more pissed because 9 times out of 10, when they ask a person for an ID, people just
give it. Yeah.
They give it because they think they have to, or because they're scared, or because they want to be cooperative, whatever the reason is. 98 times out of 100, they get the ID. So the 1 or 2 times the cops are like, "Oh my God, it's Ted Kaczynski. Like where's the anthrax? He must have a bomb vest. Like if he's not answering my questions, he must be suspicious, right?"
Yeah.
Nobody would ever want to just be like private and say, "Mind your own fucking business," unless they're a felon, right?
It's true.
Now, what the cops don't recognize is that, like, let's say I give you my ID. Do you now know I'm not about to Unabomb? You don't. The ID does nothing.
Yeah.
All it is a shortcut for them to basically determine if you have a warrant.
Yeah.
In which case, that would be like, I get the speed right to the end of arrest you. I don't have to do any work.
Yeah.
Someone else already determined I can arrest you. Right?
Yeah.
But they're obsessed with getting the ID. And unless you're in states that require, there are certain states that require that if an officer has reasonable, articulable suspicion that you are have committed or about to commit a crime, only like half of the states in the country have laws that require you ID.
Yeah.
I think it's less than half of the states. And if you go to like, and this is what I was showing right before.
Yeah,
right when
and
you
we
showed
talked
up.
about that a week or two ago. The whole like stop an ID state doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means. Like,
it's a misnomer. New Hampshire literally says they can ask you, they may ask you, but they can't punish you for saying no. And it's a stop an ID state. You can't even say stop an ID state.
Yeah.
It's if you live in one of the, it's either in the high teens or low 20 states out of the 50 in the United States, cops that you're required to, give your name to cops. But yeah, they just end up in this like death spiral where they get like short circuit when the person just says like, "No, I don't have to do that."
Yeah.
No, I don't have to do that. So that's like what an audit is.
Yeah.
And the whole underlying point is it's about accountability.
Yeah.
Because like if the police don't understand the very basic First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, and Fifth Amendment rights.
Yeah.
They can just abuse those rights, whether it's little increments, whether it's they tell every little old lady on the street that they talk to, you have to give me your ID.
Yeah.
When they don't, and then the lady just gives it to them. Like, that's a violation of their rights.
Yeah.
But there's never going to be a lawsuit. She's never going to get arrested. She's never going to, but there are these systematic things that nothing will ever change.
Yeah.
Unless someone either gets mass reported or shamed on like social media.
Yeah.
Or there's some egregious violation of rights that ends up with a lawsuit. And when they lose, when the city loses the lawsuit and they have to pay 50, 100, 200,000, sometimes millions of dollars to people who they've violated the rights of, that then those officers either get fired or they get demoted or have to give up vacation time or whatever. There's some amount of like, we need to change a policy or a behavior, and then everyone else in the station and in like the area, the state, the city, whatever, are going to be like, oh shit, maybe we should be aware of this thing that we all have been doing.
Yeah.
That's the essence of it. It's about accountability, and it's about trying to and I was trying to tell Sergeant Curtis that like, if you are a good cop, if you're someone who loves America, you love the Constitution, you want to be there for your community, you want to defend people's rights, right? All of these great things.
100%.
Then First Amendment auditors, the good auditors, because the cops and auditors, they both fall into the same spectrum of cops can do all kinds of things within the law, but they should have the discretion to do the right thing. It's the same thing with auditors.
Yes.
Don't be a cringy douchebag.
Yeah.
Well, officers shouldn't be maniac psychopaths,
for sure,
tackling every fucking person or whatever, right?
For sure.
Even if they're like legally allowed to.
Yeah.
Then they should be like the best friends, right? The cops and the auditors. But as Sergeant Curtis said, one of the first questions I said was, what do you think the relationship is with auditors? And he laughed and it's like, bad. And so I asked him, what is a First Amendment auditor to you? And he said, people who believe they have the right to record people where there is no expectation of privacy.
People who believe they have the right to record people.
And he said, believe, and they do. He said, and they do have the right to record people where there is no expectation of privacy. And it's like,
that's a very limited.
If he were to ask me, what is a police officer to you? And I said, someone who just likes to arrest people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like equally as like.
Yeah. Narrow of a definition, intentionally narrow of a definition.
Yeah, like obviously, if it's just like, people who like to arrest people, I have a skewed view of what the point of policing is, right? Because from their perspective, the point of policing is defend the community, defend the Constitution, defend people in need, uphold the law. Yeah. Not just arrest people.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, but filming people where there's no expectation of that's like a part of it.
Yeah. But they're doing that to accomplish a goal, which is to make sure that the officers that get called to just, understand.
It's making sure that the law is the Constitution is being upheld, which is like, should be something that so that right there, I was like stun locked because I'm like, how do I thought he was gonna, I thought he was gonna have much more of a nuanced answer.
Interesting.
So and we went back and forth about a few other things that we kind of got stuck in the weeds on a few things. One of the things was really interesting, and that like he had brought up in one of the videos I think I talked about maybe a couple of weeks ago, where they break the window, rip the kid out of the car. Yeah. I don't know if we talked about it on the Patreon episode.
I think it was on the main cast. Yeah,
the main cast. Because he saw, the cops, the way that like, I would describe as they needlessly escalated, put this kid through the ringer, break the window, ripping him out when like he wasn't being instantly cooperative within 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Sure. But then they pull him out, manhandle him, like they're not, I don't think they like are punching him and stuff, but they're like, they're beating him up, man. When you throw someone on the ground, take their head into the pavement and then put your knee on their temple.
Yeah.
You're fucking someone up, right?
Yeah.
Like,
was that the one where his response was like, at this point, they really should have arrested him. Yeah.
So I like now, and what he had mentioned was, he's like, the guy across the street filming, he's like, you got to be careful because if you just let him go, then what you're going to end up with, the like narrative is a young black kid getting pulled out of a car by 5 white cops, manhandled, handcuffed, and then let go.
And there it is, right? There it is.
Like,
that's it. That's not a narrative. That's what
happened.
The fuck happened.
Yeah.
like what?
Now, so in that commentary, he mentioned race. So I was doing what I thought was like reasonable, good thing to do, which was like acknowledging that like race has to be an element involved in this in some way, in a way that I know I can't fully, as an upper middle class white kid from New England, I can't know what it's like to be a black kid in the hood.
Yeah.
I'll never know.
For sure.
I only get pulled over when I do 30 plus over the speed limit.
Yeah.
That's the only time I'm going to get pulled over.
Yeah.
But what was funny, because he is a person of color as an officer, and his response was kind of like, he's like, it's really interesting that like you keep bringing up race and it's unfortunate. There's no way for me to like not feel like I'm unfairly paraphrasing, because he basically just like did say this, but for all intents and purposes, his response was kind of like, as a cop and as the only person in this conversation with a person of color, he was like, he didn't say there aren't racist cops, but it was like approaching, basically was like, listen, there aren't like as many racist cops as you think or whatever.
Yeah.
And almost as if like the reason why I was bringing it up was because like I've been fed propaganda.
Yeah.
And it's like, throw any amount of propaganda out the window and tell me that there hasn't been over the course of the last, let's say 50 years, systemic tensions, let's even just say tensions between police and the black community, especially in inner city America.
Yeah.
We see what we see on body cams. You think it was better before body cams?
Yeah.
And bro, what's like chef's kiss is today he sent me hey, I just saw this, and it was an Instagram post. And it was this old school, in this Instagram video, old school cops would tune up First Amendment auditors. And it was this old motherfucker who I swear he's got a Klan hood. I bet at home.
Yeah.
He gives me that vibe. I might be unfair to the guy, but he was basically like, he said like, teleport one of these First Amendment auditors back to the 80s and they just get the shit kicked out of them by the cops. And he was saying that like gleefully, like the good old days are gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
dude,
bro,
we live in the upside down.
Like, have we, are you saying we've gone in the wrong direction?
Yeah.
That there's like, that cops don't beat the shit out of people? Like, sure, these people are, a lot of these First Amendment auditors are rude assholes.
Yeah.
They'll egg on the cops, but it's like, it's up to the cop. But now to Sergeant Curtis's credit, he does say a ton of these things where he's like, it's up to the cops to be professional. The cops can't be going tit for tat. The cops can't be. So like, he's like right about so many things.
Yeah.
But there's just a massive disconnect.
Yeah.
Where
it's like, race isn't a big deal. Have you heard of Trooper Proctor? Like, should we get into like when we get to see the text messages, they're very rarely kumbaya. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, Jesus
dude.
fucking Christ.
What's really frustrating is that one of the things we got caught up on was what he described. He described what to me is like probably the most common thing I would describe as like systemic issue. Not really the most serious or whatever, but it's the kind of thing where an officer walks up to a random person for whatever reason.
Yeah.
On the side of the road. Let's not traffic stops, because traffic stops typically you need to give your ID in most cases. Yeah. Like, that's a special case.
That is a different thing. Yeah.
The amount of cops that'll say, like, give me your ID, and they'll make like demands as if they're demands, and then they'll treat anyone's either like uncooperation as obstruction in some way, either threatening that or outright doing it.
Yeah.
Detaining people when they shouldn't. That I think is probably, I don't know, dude. It's so hard, because he was like, well, what percent do you think? I'm like, bro, how can I, like, I could give you a number, and the number's based on vibes. It'll never be a number I'll quote in a documentary.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you were to base it off of just the interactions I've seen online and the conversations I've had with people who are law enforcement officers that are either like friends or family members or people on Twitter or Twitch chat.
Yeah.
My gut is that like 50% of officers don't quite understand like reasonable suspicion, and like when they can, like when people are required to answer questions, ID.
Yeah.
I think most citizens just comply.
Yes.
But that, and so he was like, well, yeah, look, you can look at all these statistics. There's millions and millions of interactions, and only so many of them are bad. I'm like, bad interactions in some FBI statistics, you're not going to see the number of times where an officer coerces someone to give an ID when they didn't have to.
Yeah.
And so my issue is, like, just like the algorithms thing, I'm not here to like spin a narrative. I want to understand reality.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to, there's no chance if I walk up to 50 police officers on the side of the road, and I'm like, tell me, define reasonable articulable suspicion. Right? If I give them like a 10-question pop quiz, 4 of them will humor me, and the other 46 of them will say,
get it the fuck out of my face.
Yeah. One of them will tase me.
Yeah.
So now, but his suspicion was that it was less than 1%. Now, he's a sergeant of 22 years. There's an argument to be made that I'm way more out of touch than he is. Mm-hmm. Now, I also happen to think that I think he has some legal misconceptions, some blind spots as well. Reasonable suspicion dude, that's the linchpin for like all of this stuff. And it's like, it's one of those things that's like simultaneously like very like easy while also being kind of complicated.
For sure. Because the granularity of it has humongously far-reaching effects, right? You know what I mean? The difference between 47% and 52% pen chance on M80 of an Alton doesn't fucking matter. But the difference between 42% and 47%, 56% people unjustly going to jail for some amount of time, right? So it's like, it is a simple thing, but the granularity has such enormous implications when misapplied that it can be this simultaneously simple and like very complex, because you have to get into, you have to live in the weeds. You have to become the weed man in order to like always administer it the right way, right? And so like that is, yeah, 100%.
And yeah, they're always arresting people. They think they are the weed man is the problem.
For sure.
Yeah, it's and there was something really clever, insightful, and humorous I was about to say that I forgot.
Do you think while you think about that, do you think like I don't, dude, I feel like there's got to be one of my gut reactions while you were talking about that was like that our media has to have had like a negative effect because like
cops.
Well, a negative. Here, follow this. If 100 people get stopped and asked, "Give me your ID," not asked, right? Told, "Give me your ID," and 100 of them give the ID because they don't know, right? Whatever.
Because they think it's a demand, not a request.
In a different world, if 100 people are told, "Give me your ID," and 99 of them go, "Why?" In those parallel universes, if you extrapolate that out forever, which cops probably know the law better? The ones that are being tested on it more frequently, right? And the media, our media, civilians know too many cop words and don't know what they mean because the amount of media we consume with cops. Like how many times in a TV show have we heard, "Yeah, you better do that or I'm going to charge you with obstruction of justice." That sounds fucking crazy. That sounds harsh. I don't want to obstruct justice. Now, what's the legal definition of obstructing justice? When can you be charged for obstructing justice? But we all know that word, and we know that word in the context of that guy's about to get his life fucking ruined. So we give the ID. And then we've created the world where we all give the ID without asking, which over time creates a police force that think they can demand the ID, right? So it's like that was kind of like the rabbit trail I went on, where like there has to be some level of like the media and content we consume bending our compliance towards law enforcement, which has to then have some long-term second or third order effect on what they think they can do. Like, you know what I mean?
You are writing my scripts for me. Like that's the thing, right? It's like, now I ended up removing all of this for time, but like I wanted to talk a little bit, going all the way back to, I want to say it's like March of '89 that the first season of Cops came out, because it's 3 months. It's 3 months younger than me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 37 years of fucking Cops. But like, you go watch the first few seasons of Cops, the show's a lot different. The cops are a lot different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways in which things change, right? Like some things get way better, some things get way worse. Some things are exactly the same, but in totally different ways.
Yeah.
Like our cops now look like the operators, the most gangster operators that were in like Afghanistan
or
like
whatever,
like
SEAL
most
Team
badass
6 guys. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they look like fucking Blackwater, like, you know.
Yeah. PMCs.
Whereas like, you know, before they were all just like fat old dudes in like a polo shirt and like, but like, so we had a generation of people that are all now in their mid 30s that are like, probably most of the cops are probably 30 or 40.
Yeah.
They all grew up as millennials. Gen Z watching Cops. And Cops. But the thing is that like, there's a whole podcast, like documentary thing. I want to say it was called Running from Cops. It's really good. That talks about how the cops on Cops were motivated to like make shit happen,
get a good shot.
So that because otherwise they wouldn't be on an episode if the cop followed them or the camera followed them around for 3 days and like all they did was like pull a couple of guys over for like speeding. Like that's never going to make it on the show. So how like the behavior on Cops was like molded by the fact that they were in front of a camera, so they acted a certain way. But it was never like, it wasn't like the same way that, you know, where everyone's like this with a cell phone. That will change the way the cops act
now.
In a different way.
Yeah.
But before they were like performing
for sure
in a lot of ways. So then you have officers growing up with this performative Cops that then they think that that's, you know, everything is always just fucking chase the guy, tackle him, stop resisting, I got him for obstruction. He definitely must have drugs in his pants stuffed somewhere. You know, it's just the same shit. And then you have the citizens in parallel growing up,
watching
it, and then also generally being compliant, not knowing their rights.
Yeah.
Them complying and just going along with the shit, which then reinforces the training, because cops are trained on what works.
Yeah. And
that's a thing that I think is like, whether there's like systemic racism or there's systemic like whatever, I think that like, I feel pretty strongly that like cops come out of the police academy and in their, you know, however many months or whatever, they're like as trainees at like police stations or police departments, that they're trained in the shit that has results. And their goal is not like, okay, I have this interaction. How am I going to maximally uphold everyone here's constitutional rights, from the guy who got accused of pickpocketing to the person who got pickpocketed.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically like, I'm going to make sure I don't get killed.
Yeah.
That's my first concern, which is like not unreasonable, but
no.
But unfortunately, when that results in a cop not wanting to approach, this is something that Sergeant Curtis said, which surprised me, is that he would not approach a car at a traffic stop that had dark tinted windows. Mm-hmm. That would basically be a driver, step out of the vehicle, you know, like guns. And it's like, well, if your number one priority over everything else is making sure, you know, I got to make it home to my wife and kids, which I don't want to like denigrate that. But if that means that when you stop an old lady who is about to jaywalk, that you have to take your gun out because she might be a terrorist. Yeah. That's on the other one end of the spectrum, that everyone would agree, like, that's absurd. Obviously him taking his gun out, but it's like, well, he's got to make it home to his family. So he's got to do what he's got to do. No. So clearly that standard is absurd. Yeah. If you just make it a hardline black and white excuse to do anything. Yeah. The question is, if you pulled someone over for failing to use their blinker and they take 0.1 miles to pull over, and they have dark tinted windows, should you take your gun out? Should you point your gun at them while you approach the car? Yeah. Should you take your gun out at all? Should you have your hand on your gun? Should you have your hand on your taser? Yeah. Should you not do any of those things? And instead, this is where me and Sergeant Curtis agreed, where I was like, if it was so dangerous that they had to smash the window and have their guns in their hands, why didn't they do a felony traffic stop, which is the radio, you know, put the window down, put your hands out, open the door from the outside, hands up, pick up your shirt, walk backwards towards me. If it's that dangerous, then do that. Don't just like roll up as if it's a fucking Tarkov raid and you're jiggle peeking the back window. Because that's the way that, like, he was basically like, listen, if they got to do it, they got to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I think I could soliloquy about this all fucking day long.
For sure. I mean, yeah, I think it's like, you know, something, I don't remember what, you know, got me there, but yeah, it's just like, I think that, yeah, it was the cops thing. Like, yeah, that's where my brain went. Let's go back to the cops thing. People grow up watching cops. Cops want to get featured on cops because that's fucking cool. No shade to the cops that want to get on cops because being on cops is cool if you're a cop. But then we maybe create an incentive structure. You know what I mean? What's crazy about cops is it's been going for 37 years. So we can kind of like see the effects, right? Like the micro effects, you know, small thing plus time equals big thing, you know? So it's like, and then does that affect the way that people go into the academy, the way people come out of the academy? Does it affect, like the point I brought up, how compliant people are? How compliant people are, does that over the long term affect what police officers think they can do because they can make these requests and those requests are fulfilled for a long enough time that they feel like that request is a legal demand? And this is what bothers me about so much of today is that we feels like we don't do a good job of just doing this kind of stuff, which is just like you or I did not have to say any person is a bad person or a racist person or a terrible police officer, to like look at this at a macro level and be like, hey, maybe there are things that are like slowly over generations shifting the relationship between, you know, civilians and police officers in a potentially negative way. The auditing that's happening is potentially proving that as well. Should we take a look at what's going on here and then maybe make changes? That seems so simple to me. But people want there to be like such a bad guy. They want there to be a guy with a curved mustache that's Lieutenant Fuck 'em Up. That's like, no, we actually, all the white cops are the best cops, and let's go kill all the people. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, and it feels like both sides think the other side thinks that. And it's like, the reality is, it's just like, this is how you live. This is accountability, right? It's like, it's keeping the bumpers up. You know what I mean? Because we're going to drift. We're going to drift too far one way and hey, we're going to drift some far the other way. Hey. That's like, that's not a bad thing. And it's like, how many like, I don't know. How many people on the street do you think you would interview in America and say, what do you think about the concept of accountability? Do you think people that are in charge of other people should be held accountable?
Every single person would say, hell yeah.
Person is going to say 10 out of 10, accountability is great. And it just never applies to them, because accountability oftentimes is there to indict the system, not inherently the people in the system. Now, some people in the system need to be indicted. Trooper Proctor should be in a jail cell, right? And he should spend the rest of his life there. But accountability is not there to say that guy needs to go away, and if we get rid of that guy, it's all better. Accountability is to interact with the system, the mechanism with which we do anything, whether that's politics or law enforcement or fucking content creation, whatever, accountability. And so it's like, it's so, and this is understandable because it's also a very human thing, right? If you ask me to hold you accountable, this is the lowest hanging fruit. This is such a like human thing. Everybody's experienced this at one point or the other. They're trying to eat better or they're trying to exercise more. And so you're like, yo, I want to go run every single day. So you ask someone you love, hey, can you help me keep me accountable? Text me every day. Eventually what happens is you wake up one day and you don't want to run and you choose not to run. And when the text comes through that says, hey, did you do your run today? It's such a human thing to be mad at that person, even though you asked for it. You were the one that had the idea, and you know you were the one that failed you. They didn't fail you, you failed you, but you're mad at them about it. So that is, I get it. It's a human reaction for people to come into the cop space, the police space, and be like, hey, are you doing the right thing? And it might even be an excusable, natural human reaction for some of those people to make the wrong thing, make the wrong decision in that context. What is absolutely inexcusable is to then at a macro level look at that and go, yeah, but have you thought about how hard his day was? Fucking no, bro. It's like, this is what accountability is. To be able to be okay with saying, hey, no, this was a bad reaction to that. And if we can say that about the small stuff, then it doesn't percolate up into the big stuff. You know what I mean? But we don't have these conversations till we get Trooper Proctor out there and it's fucked up text messages. And it's like, that's accountability. It's okay. This is just how it happened. Like it's just.
But here's the thing. It sucks. We live in a reality where the accountability, there is no accountability until you have either citizens who are either willing to stand up for their rights but like, or auditors who go and like try, because if you think about it, all of these little constitutional violations happen everywhere all the time. It's only until there's like a George Floyd or some crazy big thing that leads to a $10 million lawsuit. And then everyone in the country, 100%. There's like new case law and everyone knows about it.
Exactly. It's like, we shouldn't need a Supreme Court decision to be like, you know what I mean? It like, you're right. Nothing is challenged until it gets there. And then that's what makes it feel like such a big thing, because then we are literally elevating very specific police officers to the top. The entire nation points at them and says, if what they like, we are going to decide all together if what that guy did was good or bad, and that will set precedent for every other human being that's a police officer. And it's like, that seems like the opposite way to do it, right? Like accountability should be done at the bottom level all the time, not when the most heinous fucked up thing happened once every 10 years. Like, that just seems crazy. I worked at I worked at the factory for 30 years, and twice my boss came in, he asked me 2 questions and then took all my pension away because I answered it wrong. It's like, what if I wish he came in every month and quizzed me and it was there were less stakes? Yeah, me too, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like,
dude, yeah. And there's a couple other quick things before we can move on this. The thing that I hear, I posted something on Twitter and had, everyone and their mother chime in, and with basically like you should just comply with the police.
yeah.
You shouldn't, which is like, I'm not going to say you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to not comply, you better be ready for the physical consequences, and you better know legally what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going to say that to a crowd of 1,000 people, maybe 3 of them fall into that bucket. So, like, I wouldn't say that to everyone.
Yeah.
You should probably comply, but, like, you should also know your rights and whatever. Now, but so then they say, okay, well, if you want accountability, then take them to court afterwards. And first of all, what those folks don't realize is, let's say an officer gets a call, someone is walking down the street and they're suspicious. And, the officer drives up, dispatch tells them, suspicious person, maybe they're potentially a thief or whatever. There's like nothing, there's no reasonable, articulable.
Yeah.
They're just because you're a reasonable person and that person's sus doesn't mean you have reasonable suspicion, right? So, and they walk up, they detain you, they force you to give them their ID. Maybe they put you in handcuffs.
Mm-hmm.
They, take your wallet out. They take your ID. Let's just say they find weed on you and weed isn't legal in your area. So let's say you actually did something wrong, but the cop actually did everything wrong. What will happen is you take when that goes to court.
Yeah.
If the judge is a good judge, the judge will say you had no probable cause or reasonable suspicion.
Yeah.
Everything after the initial detainment, it's all garbage.
Yeah.
Case dismissed. Go on your way.
Yeah.
What happens to the cop? Nothing. He just got a day off patrol because he had to go to court.
Yep.
He doesn't get a fine. He's not going to get reprimanded.
Yep.
There's no penalty whatsoever. You have to file a civil lawsuit, which is going to. And who is going to file a civil lawsuit when a cop just came up and cuffed them and checked their wallet or whatever, and then and let's say he lets them go.
Yeah.
Like that's like a violation of all kinds of rights.
Yeah.
But that's not really.
Yeah.
Is that worth spending thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on a lawyer to try to sue?
Yeah.
It's like, no, what you need is you kind of need to get them to violate your rights while they also kick the shit out of you. Then you need a broken rib.
Yeah.
And for it to be on 3 different body cam videos. Yeah. For that to be worthwhile, then you'll probably make 6 figures from the lawsuit and then maybe get some accountability.
Yeah.
But now, of course, there's incentive to try to bait that out of cops. There are some cops who you don't even need to try very hard. They'll do it anyway. But again, it's just comply and then court afterwards is such a brain dead response.
100%. It's such a brain dead response because it's no human on planet Earth has ever thought that when being unlawfully detained.
Unless you're an auditor,
right? I'm saying thought just comply. You know what I mean? The people that are saying just comply, if they were in the situation where they were suspected of something that they know they didn't do and the cop was putting them in handcuffs and stuff like that, they wouldn't be you know what, I tweeted one time to just comply. They'd be what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean?
No, see, I don't know. I think that the thing is that it's one of those things where it's if you just cooperate, if you haven't done anything wrong, then nothing, then And I think people believe that. I think people genuinely believe that if you just comply, because here's the thing, like, what you're doing is you're trading your constitutional rights for convenience.
Yeah, for sure.
If I say no to you,
yeah,
we can go back and forth with the officer and butt heads for an hour, and either I'll end up arrested or they'll walk away.
Yeah.
Either way,
it takes an hour.
My fucking rights were violated, and it was inconvenient, and it was a pain in the ass, and I put myself at some risk of getting arrested or whatever. Yeah. Or I can just give them my ID and answer their questions, and I can let them search my car, and I can let them pat me down, and I'll be out of here in 5 or 10 minutes. Like, the truth is that, like, there is truth to if you just, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is you give up your rights, and it'll be easy for you.
Yeah.
And I think most people will take that offer.
Yeah.
Because most people also don't know, and that's a really easy offer if they think the easy way is the correct way and the lawful way. But the problem is the easy way is almost always like a shortcut straight through the Constitution.
Yeah.
But most people don't know. They can say no to all of these things.
Yeah. So
in their case, the cooperation or the compliance it's not even like a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, sure, handcuff me, daddy. Like, it's only for officer safety, or whatever. So then the last thing I'll say too is the way that officers treat people in these interactions, where after the fact you see all the commenters and the cops who are the reactors, the way that they're like, this was all justified, this was all okay, it was all appropriate, because, and it's always under the guise of like, we can't know if that they're not doing a Unabomb, which is like, you're like 4% right.
Yeah.
And trust me, I've seen the body cam videos where the cops roll up alongside the car and they get insta gunned down, murdered in 2 seconds, and their life is over. So it's like, the question is, does that now mean every traffic stop now needs to be a fucking standoff? I don't know. Obviously, there's a middle ground. The answer isn't your gun should be drawn every time, because if that's your answer, I don't want you as a police officer.
Yeah.
But how I know that they know at the heart that it's wrong, and I don't think they realize it, because I think that there is an otherism. There is an implicit, but hidden dehumanization that happens in the minds of the officers that I think cuts off their brain from the cognitive dissonance. The moment they pull somebody over who is swerving, and it's their lieutenant.
Yeah.
And the lieutenant has a beer in the cup holder, and they're 100%. Hammered. I mean, they're like, they'll spend 45 minutes calmly and patiently. The lieutenant will say no. They'll refuse to get out of the car. Yep. They'll refuse to do the tests. They'll turn around mid-conversation and walk away from the cops.
They'll ask the cops to turn their body cams off.
They'll ask the cops to turn their body cams off. They'll fail all the tests, and they're doing one of the most taboo things in society, drinking and driving. And yet those 2 cops that pulled over their LT, they don't think of him as a criminal. He is objectively the most criminal they are going to deal with all that day. And yet every other person they pull over because they think they smelled weed or whatever is far less of a danger to society.
Yep.
But they put them in different categories.
Yeah.
And they instantly, the moment that they want to handcuff the officer, he's like, that the amount of hemming and hawing that goes back and forth between like, okay, we don't want to handcuff you. If we didn't have to handcuff you, we wouldn't. But we do, so we're going to handcuff you in the front. Or the lieutenant who's getting taken to the station for a DUI sits in the front seat of the cop car, and they're like, we got to cuff you and put you in the back.
Yep.
But they cuff him in the front and they put him in the back nicely after they ask him 10 times, and they're there for 90 minutes. Whereas 60 seconds of the black kid in the car saying, why do you have your gun out? He doesn't roll down his window. and the use of force on him then justifies why didn't they arrest him. It's like the amount of like even the basic minimal tiny things as like the emotional and mental impact of being in public and me putting handcuffs on you, reading you your rights and walking you to the back of a car and put you in the cop car suddenly becomes clear in their vision the moment it's one of their own, the moment it's a family member or a law enforcement officer or like a government official. So that's how you know they know the shit they're doing. But they don't know because they're looking at it through a different lens.
Yes. There's a completely different goggles. Yes. Yeah. It's a completely different perspective. 100%. Yeah. Tough, man. Tough.
Bro, you know what?
Stuff.
You know what? Anytime a police officer is like, let me see your ID, I'm always like, bro, you for sure want to see my ID.
You want to see my ID. Thanks to the generational transition to the sponsor of this episode of the podcast, and that is Ridge Wallets, the last wallet you'll ever need. Ridge Wallets are the perfect, ideal, minimalist wallet. They can hold up to like 12 cards, as seen on TV right here. Veritas has got like 63 cards as well. They can hold up to 12 cards. They're unbelievably thin, slim, perfect for not having that bulky trifold Velcro wallet you've had since middle school. Made out of unbelievably premium materials like aluminum, carbon fiber, titanium. There's a tremendous amount of customization. They've done a bunch of crossovers with like sports teams and stuff like that. The Ridge wallet is just like the GOAT.
I mean, yeah. Every time I pull this out, I get comments from people, whether it's like the person behind the counter at the grocery store or whether it's the officer patting me down for meth. And given how sturdy it is, you could classify it as a deadly weapon. I mean, I don't even know how to indicate, quantify just how it's simultaneously like this hefty, indestructible unit, while also being the like most lightweight, low profile. I mean, just like
look at that.
If you're the type of person that only has 2 or 3 cards, and maybe you only carry around like a little bit of cash with you, dude, this thing will just like disappear in your pocket. It's not going to be a giant bulge under your butt, giving you back pain. Or if you're like me and you've got, every card under the sun,
still works.
You're all set and it works.
They really are awesome. They're RFID blocking. There's over 100,000 5-star reviews. There's a ton of customization. Like I always see when they drop it makes me want to collect them like Pokemon cards because there's so many designs that I want. They're so awesome. So and Ridge does a whole lot of other stuff like travel stuff. They've got luggage, they've got bags, they've got the travel
battery has battery. Like indispensable for my walking around with cameras and tripods and phones and stuff.
You can like MagSafe it to your phone and be charging something else via Lightning and be charging something else via USB-C. You can be like charging your laptop
and put a kickstand up so that you can watch YouTube videos at the same time.
So awesome stuff. Ridge is the best. Ridge wallets are awesome. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all their products. For limited time, our listeners can get 10% off at Ridge by using code POGCAST. That is code POGCAST at ridge.com. Using code POGCAST at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and you're all set. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Thank you so much to Ridge for sponsoring this episode.
I think if I
bang, boom,
if this was like in a breast pocket, it would be like the thing in the movie where if you got shot, you would suddenly be like,
yeah, the like deck of cards and it gets
exactly.
yeah.
If there's anything I own that would do that, it would be the Ridge.
You know, it's so funny. You know how like, speaking of, you know, a generation of millennials growing up on cops and like everything has to be tactical now, even like just like, I bet you could see that same theme of just like guys who are into guns as a hobby in 1993 were probably just dudes in baseball caps and, you know, having a good time. And now it's like you go out to the range and it's fucking SEAL Team 6 out there LARPing. How has no, like, I'm sure that there's like a wallet that's like class 3A body armor just in case you get shot in your left ass cheek in the field.
I'd be surprised if Ridge wasn't the one supplying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
holy
my
shit,
God.
dude.
But yeah, anyways. I mean, dude, not a whole lot going on my end, to be honest with you. I am just like dying for something to happen. We've been like bouncing around, playing a bunch of games. We played some Hunt Showdown. We've been playing some Battlefield Season 4, Battlefield 6 Season 4 came out. Played some Red Set.
We gotta
today.
play Mecha
Yeah,
Spider or whatever.
Mecha Chameleon. Yeah, we really do need to like get a time on the schedule with like Ham, Airwing, Velian, and just like do it, because there's just nothing else to do. There's so much I'm excited for and so little to do right now in the meantime.
This reminded me, dude. Oh fuck, I'm like rarely on Twitter these days because it's mostly just AIDS. But I recently commented on one of Vel's tweets, and I made a quick joke about it because it was just like a funny way he like worded something, and his response was, "Oh shit, I need to redo it. I'm a dump," and then he just deleted the tweet. And it's like I didn't mean it was. He posted because he's like lost a bunch of weight.
Yes.
He's had a
lost
pretty
like
awesome
100 pounds.
Yeah, dude, it's insane.
He looks so good.
And I can't remember exactly. He literally deleted the tweet, but he wrote something along the lines of, oh, fuck. It was like, I set a goal to like lose 15 pounds or something. Fuck, dude, I'm never gonna remember. It was something along the lines of like, I've set a goal to like lose this amount of weight.
Yeah.
But like here I am, and it was like it was as if he gained 4 pounds.
Oh, okay. Like the math just didn't math.
Yeah, and I was like, the way I read this made me think you gained 4 pounds. I said, for real though, that's awesome, bro.
And then he's like, I'm a dump, and deletes the tweet.
Yeah. I was like, oh fuck, I didn't really mean to like call you out, but I forget exactly the wording. It would probably land a lot better if I had the wording for you, but motherfucker actually deleted it, but it just reminded me.
Yeah, dude.
Valian's the funniest motherfucker.
He has crushed that. It's incredibly inspiring, but yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I've been freaking, I don't know. The Tarkov Labs event made me want to claw my eyes out. I got it done, but like, whatever.
You're in the FPS. You're doing the FPS equivalent of power washing the Millennium Falcon the 7th time in a row.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's the thing, is that like, I think it's a little bit like where you are. Like, I think I feel where you are, where I shouldn't say there's nothing to do. There's nothing I want to do. And that's kind of where you're at, where you're like in the past, like before you worked on the video, we're like, there's no good games. And it's like, there are good games. People send you games, and these games are good games that are highly reviewed. But it's like, I don't want to play that. You know what I mean? And so it's like, that's kind of where I'm at, where it's like, there's lots of games out there, but like, there's just nothing that has me excited.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that have me excited that aren't out yet, obviously, that we've been talking about, but There's
And it's
nothing.
bad that there's like, yeah, lots of things that are, there's things that are like even like objectively good.
Yes.
And that you're just like, yeah, but I just like can't bring myself to.
Yes. I played Hunt the other day with Ham and Rilo. That was fun. That game is cool. It's a great game, but I just like, I don't know. Like, I like playing the finals, but all my viewers leave. Nobody wants to watch. I fucking love that game so much, but everybody leaves immediately.
Yeah, dude.
And but yeah, I don't know. Tarkov's been whatever. It's so I don't know. I hesitate to say this because it's like it's the meme, right? But like Tarkov's so ratty now. It's so ratty. Like it's just nobody. It's just like players are like growing like weeds. Like the amount of times I'll be running through like a field with like no cover around, 15 minutes into a raid, and a player will just get up. They were just laying there and they shoot me, and I'm just like, what are we doing? I get camping marked room, right? That's been around since 2017, but like we're just laying prone on shoreline in a giant field. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, right.
Like, it's just so much.
I wonder if now, so like I'm guessing that because you like haven't really, for the most part, like stopped playing. Like I'm not gonna be, when I end up doing like my subathon, whether it's like September, October, or whatever. Like I'm gonna be so out of not only the FPS genre, but like the Tarkov world. I mean, there's a world in which like it takes me like 3 hours to get back into the swing of things. There's a world in which like I'm like a dad gamer for like a week or something.
I think
it'll come back. I was just gonna say, like, I wonder if, I'm assuming you're running around super confident, probably really good gear, you know, like in a way that, you know, is, I'm sure would be described as like chatty, right? So I wonder if like if I come back, if I'll like that for a short period of time. I'm sure once I get like really comfortable and then I get into the swing of things and I'm just like, I'm on autopilot and I'm like, I'll get really annoyed by that shit. But there's gonna be a while where like I'm gonna be taking things like real slow.
Oh, for sure.
And like
for sure. Yeah. I mean, you're definitely right. Which is why I'm so excited for seasonal, right? It's the dichotomy.
You're excited for the silent bushes?
Yeah. I'm excited for not being slowed down by bushes. I'm excited because I actually just posted a video about this, about Tarkov and the seasonal characters. And it was like about the seasonal character, but it was also about like Tarkov in general and like the wipe problem, right? Where like ultimately BSG couldn't keep the wipes interesting enough such that the wipes got incredibly boring because we just like optimized the shit out of them and nothing changed. And then when they got rid of the wipes, they hadn't sufficiently thought about what would happen to like the long-term game and economy of no wipes. And so we've just like, something new and fresh.
Wait, this is a really dumb question. They got rid of wipes?
Yeah, there's no more wipes. When 1.0 happened, the character, the character.
Oh, but there's the seasonal.
Yeah, the character like that you've been playing, never wipes again. So you're just gonna have that guy, and then the seasonal ones wipe every however many months.
God, is that just gonna end up being like the non-season? I wonder if it's gonna be like, you know, if you go play Diablo 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like nobody is playing on like the non-seasonal.
That's like one of the biggest concerns because they're on separate servers, right? And one of the biggest concerns is like, will regular servers be dead because everyone will be on seasonal? And it's so funny. It like really depends on who you ask. Like somebody earlier in chat was like, no one is going to play seasonal. People will not have their meta ammo for 2 raids and they'll immediately go back. And I was like, brother, I don't think you get the Tarkov community. Like it's like people have been like wiping their own accounts, doing hardcore challenges. Wipes always have the biggest player count, and then it dwindles. Like I was like, people like the like people are happy to get rid of that stuff. But then
the only people who like the types of people who would be all about the non-seasonal characters are the types of people that are now playing single player Tarkov.
Yeah, PvE. Yeah.
Yeah, PvE.
So, but then, so sometimes some people are like, dude, no one's going to care about seasonal. And then some people are like, seasonal is going to kill regular Tarkov because everyone's going to be playing that. Obviously, we have no idea what's like actually going to happen. I'm very intrigued to see how it shakes out personally. I think that
we'll never get numbers either. It's all going to be vibes.
Here's like,
my raids feel dead.
You'll agree with this, and I'm just trying to figure out the way to say it the best. The Tarkov community has a way of blaming other players that don't play the same way they play for battle state games fuck ups.
That isn't a correct statement.
Yes. And so if
universally.
So like there's a chance that the seasonal character kills, quote unquote kills the main character and nobody wants to play it and the raids are dead. But to me, that will be like a fuck up by BSG. Like they have such an opportunity. That's why what I've been harping on for weeks now, as we've been talking about this, is they have to make the two games feel different and they have to lean into the strengths of each game. The regular game is the perfect place to do like crazy events where like Icebreaker, for example, Icebreaker is so broken. It's so, like there is no reason to play anything other than Icebreaker 24/7 unless you want PvP, because it's the best way to get XP, it's the best way to get gear, it's the best way to get ammo, and it's the best way to get money. Bar none. There are no any other players. But it's fun. Like sometimes overpowered broken things are fun, right? Because it's just fucking fun. It's fun to like get 10 million rubles in a day with your buddies and then go blow it, PvPing on labs. So like the main Tarkov is the perfect place for stuff like that to happen, right? And so if
you're talking about the non-seasonal,
yeah. So if they like lean into that and keep like events and like cool shit happening on that account that isn't on the seasonal, that like leans into the fact that it's like, yeah, this is a never ending economy. So we can like fuck shit up and not really care.
Wow, it's all, you could see it the opposite way too. You could see it as like, if we're going to fuck shit up, we should do it in the thing that is ephemeral.
Yes. I'm saying there are different ways you fuck shit up. And they should fuck everything up and they should do it differently on the wipe character and on the main character, right?
Yeah.
Like, because an environment where your shit never goes away and an environment where none of this matters because it's all getting deleted anyway are two different environments. And if they treat each environment independent and if they create events and like things happening and battle passes or whatever the fuck they're planning on doing with those things in mind, they can create, like, imagine halfway through a season, a like really cool, crazy event happens on main that like they couldn't do on seasonal because like the seasonal shit's going to wipe anyway. So who would care to do this event? This is like a great way to like get gear or money or whatever. And so it's like, they have the opportunity to like give people a reason to want to continue playing on the main character and to want to like maybe dabble into seasonal. You know what I mean? And like, I think that there really is an opportunity that it's not an either or, that for a lot of players, it's a both. For a lot of players, they want to just like kind of turn their brain off. They know they have 200 million rubles on the main account. So they just go play some customs and do that and maybe do the new quests or the new event quests. And then they want to lock in and get the rewards for this, that, and the other. So they play seasonal. And so it's like, but my worry is they won't, that they'll treat it as basically one cohesive experience. They'll just make the seasonal, like, my worry is that all the cool stuff will be in seasonal. So they will force everybody to play seasonal and then they're like, it'll be a mess of their own making. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's there. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do this, and every one of these different ideas or whatever are ways in which they could be done in ways that would be good or bad. It's interesting. I never really thought about it. Well, I thought about what you described. And so, given that I've never thought about it, my like gut reaction is not to be like trusted, but I guess to be discussed.
No, I understand.
My instinct is that if you're going to have seasonal and non-seasonal, they should be treated totally differently in meaningful ways.
Yeah.
But in a way in which people aren't going to go back and forth. Like my instinct to that is like, that seems like a bad decision, because like, if imagine you're making progress on your seasonal character, and then like there's some crazy thing that's happening on the non-seasonal thing that you're like, you kind of like, you have like FOMO to do a thing that you don't really care about. Like if you have infinite resources on your non-seasonal character, I want to do the fun thing. I don't want to miss out on it, but I want to play on my character that I'm working on now.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to, I can't speak for everybody. The impression I've always gotten, and maybe some people in chat can tell me with like ARPGs, the impression I got is that like 95% of people are playing on like seasonal, and those people are people who always play on like the seasonal, like whatever the ladder thing is, and the non-ladder, like non-seasonal long-term accounts are kind of there for like people who play for 3 hours every 6 months or something. And who like aren't really like into it in a meaningful way. And so I mean, the thing is that like BSG is going to do 73% of what they need to do, no matter how they implement it. So it's probably going to not be, but like, I don't know. It seems like to me, you almost want to like design. I think you might want to design the non-seasonal Tarkov in such a way that it appeals to the non-seasonal people. And you want to design seasonal Tarkov in a way that appeals to that subset of the population.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not sure.
Listen, I will be the first person to tell you that maybe my takes are horrible, right? Like, we've never done this before. I've never played an ARPG, which is the easy comparison, because ARPGs are games that have kind of, like you were saying, the standard and then the seasonal and the ladder and non-ladder 100%. So I get the comparisons there totally, and I could be wrong. I just think that for Tarkov, which is like a PvP game, so it kind of requires other people to be playing, right? So if like only 3 people are playing the PoE non-ladder, that doesn't really matter, I imagine. I don't think, is PoE PvP? Are there like PvP ARPGs?
But I mean, Diablo 2, one of the hugest things was like duels.
Oh, cool.
But I actually don't know about PoE actually.
So it's just like, I just see there to be such an opportunity to create distinct experiences on both. And once again, not to say that everyone should play both. That's not what I was trying to say. I know not everybody has enough time to like grind their main and grind seasonal or something. I just think that there's room for the two worlds to feel different, because like, because just like, why do it then? Like, why leave them both up?
Well, I mean, so again, only speaking from a Diablo standpoint, it's like there are people who, if the seasons are every 6 months and you only play once or twice a year, you don't want to log in and have I got to make a level 1 character, and you get through 1 or 2 quests, and then the next time you log in, I got to make a level 1 character, and you never make any like progress.
Yeah.
But there are some people who like are grinding and grinding and grinding.
Yeah.
Always, and the moment there's a new thing, they instantly will restart and they'll do the ladder again.
Yeah.
So from that very simple oversimplified mindset, it's like there's, if Diablo did a thing that was super interesting and cool for I've never once in 20 years of playing any ARPGs ever done anything non-ladder. It's never been a thing I've ever considered.
Mm-hmm.
Those characters they're like a trophy case. They go to die.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just one player, and I'm not even like, I'm not even like,
you would have infinitely more experience than I do with those types of games for sure.
But I'm like barely an ARPG Andy, so like I don't even know like what's normal or what's meta or whatever. But
maybe that's how they'll do it, and maybe that'll work. Like,
but I guess all of that was to answer your question of like, why leave it up? It's like, well, one is for the active player base, and the other is for the for everyone else.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't those such different examples though? Because like, if what you're saying is that the everyone else is such a small amount of people, and Tarkov has daytime, nighttime, 10 maps, you know what I mean? It's like, if Tarkov is a game that requires other people to be involved, and the assumption is that the other people who aren't interested is such an inordinate minority of the player base, then why not I guess maybe it is just going to be the meme
like
then.
PvE.
Maybe it really is just going to be dead servers. Like, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. PvE exists. So the PvEers are just going to keep playing PvE.
Well, I mean, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to justify a thing that might not.
It might not.
You're right. You're
right.
You know, so we're post hoc trying to explain a thing
Tony
as
Hawk
if there is a right
again.
answer.
Yeah. And once again, you're right. And there might be, like, because this is a thing we've heard many times, is that people have always hated wipes. There have been some amount of people that have always hated wipes. So like, maybe there just is enough of those people. Maybe they won't do any cool stuff on the non-seasonal character. Maybe it will just be the straight up ARPG, fucking ghost town, whatever.
Only like game breaking bugs
people
should get pushed into that branch.
Yeah.
And then everything else, like that should just be
like, maybe that's how it'll be. And maybe there'll just be enough players to do that. I don't know. I just think that like,
man, I mean, in a way that's like, I don't know. I feel like that'll be there will be a period of time where it'll probably be like a 3-month period where like that is old Tarkov, where you'd go into customs and like you would only see, 1 or 2 PMCs in like 7 or 8 customs raids.
Yeah.
And it would be like this crazy intense thing where, because you only see 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
You don't have 9 million interactions, right? Because like at the beginning, part of the craziness was that like we weren't so confidently b-hopping around because we hadn't had 8 billion gunfights.
For sure.
Each one of us had 12 gunfights ever.
Yeah.
So everybody was clumsy and awkward and scared, and people played slowly and they played tactically.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was because we were, goofy, not confident, folks, and there'll be a 2-week period where like that Tarkov will
genuinely
feel like
maybe,
Tarkov, and then it'll turn to, it'll go past the threshold where now it's just PvE basically 99% of the time.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing where it's like, I wonder if the non-seasonal but PvP Tarkov will entice PvE players to come back to PvP. If it's like, if there's like there's got to be some amount of PvE players that like, yeah, I would play PvP if there was half the amount of players. It's just I keep spawning and dying to Desmond 7 seconds into a raid. And if all those people go to seasonal and non-seasonal is kind of a ghost town, there might be some amount of people that migrate into that, enjoying that experience you just described, where there's maybe half as many people in a raid. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, and
the
then
type
think
of
about all
people that
the-
wouldn't besmirch a dead raid. Those people might come out of PvE into PvP. Who knows?
And then think about all the additional copies of PvE or vice versa that will be sold again.
Yeah.
For people wanting to try that out.
Yeah.
That's why BSG is doing this. It's a PvE light.
Yeah.
They're just gonna sell a bunch more copies to a bunch of people who
maybe
have already bought the game.
Maybe. Yeah. I think like I don't know. Like I will be the first person to tell you I don't know. Maybe my takes on this are horrible. Maybe not. Maybe I really don't know. I just personally I'm very excited for like I will say this, no matter what, I'm glad they're trying this because the cycle they got into with wipes was really bad. Like we were just wiping every 6 months and nothing new was happening, right? Like the wipes compared,
the technical wipes just became the standard.
Yes, 0.8 and 0.9 and 9.5 and 0.10. Those wipes were all so much came to the game. They were so vastly different from each other. But like the difference between like 13.5 and 13.8 and patch, like nothing was different. They were just hitting the reset button. And that was what was getting so, like my gut tells me so many people left Tarkov during that time, not because of the bugs, not because of the cheaters, not because of the PvP, but it was because like I got Keppa fucking 6 times. What am I going to do? Go get the Saluas again? And so like
all the people that stopped playing way before the Kappa was even in the game. I'm only half kidding.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And so I think wipes are an important part of Tarkov, not necessarily extraction shooters, but I think wipes are an important part of Tarkov. And even if season one, even if season one doesn't quite hit as hard as I want it to, it's at least a template for a much better system around wiping than just wiping every 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least the concept of like global modifiers that change from season to season, personal modifiers that change from season to season, new progress and rewards to gain each season. Like, I think that, like, I was talking to Aaron about this. Apparently, Nikita had been talking about a battle pass. I don't remember him talking about that, but apparently he did. So maybe there's a battle pass each season too. Like, that's just so much of a better system for wiping than just like press the big wipe button. Interchange has 6 new trees. We added 3 more guns. Have fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oof.
Now, but there were like, there's also a lot of people, whether it's like Reddit or in Twitch chat or whatever, that hate wipes, right? That like don't like wipes. So it's like, I don't know. It's always impossible to tell because there's vocal minorities, but there's vocal majority. Like, it could very well be that like, this is just a way for them to have their cake and eat it too. They can just say we're going to do wipes, and we have wipes here, and then
like I said,
for all the people that get butthurt about it, we just have a thing that we don't ever have to touch again that exists for those people.
That's what I was saying. Maybe there is. Maybe there's just way more of those people than I thought. Once again, my gut tells me that like if there were 1,000 people yelling "I hate wipes," like 700 of them really hate wipes and 300 of them are bored with the wipes. Like my gut tells me that it's like a Venn diagram, and some amount of people that were saying they hate wipes, if the wipes were interesting, would enjoy them. Not all of them. I think a lot of people just hated the idea of their shit getting wiped for sure. But I think some people that were like, ugh, another one. I mean, I was getting there. I was starting to hate wipes. You know what I mean? Even though I think they're like super important to the game because it was just the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, but that wasn't the wipe that you were upset about, though, because that was the opposite of the same thing. That was de facto a change, which was like what you needed because you were bored, right? Like the people who say they hated wipes, the impression I got was that I don't want to start over.
Yeah. Yes. I'm saying I think some amount of those people were saying that and would enjoy starting over if starting over was interesting. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not even saying a majority. I'm just saying, I think.
Yeah, so I guess this kind of just we're circling around like what I think was the original the original point, which is that like I don't think we need to design the 2 game modes.
Yeah.
To appeal to both groups.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like either we agree that like there's enough of both groups to justify having there be some kind of split.
Yeah.
Or if we don't, we then have to justify why we want to invest like design effort into something that doesn't have enough people to play it. So therefore we need to pull from this other thing that is the main thing to try to make it compelling enough.
But I guess that's the question. What's the main thing? I mean, I guess presumably seasonal is going to be the new main thing. Because my guess is that that's where most people are going to be. And to somebody's point that put it in chat, I think it was Frying All of Us, was like, that's also going to be like the perpetual moneymaker. Like, you know what I mean? If they do battle passes, you know what I mean? Like that'll be the place that they do it. And so that will become the main
gems.
Yeah, that'll become the main thing, because the main thing has to be in game design. The main thing is the thing that makes you the most money. And if that's how they do, you know, so I think you're right there. And ultimately I think like a lot of people have said before that they wish that it was like integrated. It was just one thing. And I really think it has to be a separate thing. You know what I mean? Either seasonal, it just is the new Tarkov, or would do it how they're doing it, where like they leave up the non-wiping Tarkov, but seasonal has to be separate, because like there's just way too many issues. I don't even know how they would apply like the global modifiers to a group of people in a raid, but not others. You know what I mean? Like,
no, there's like, I mean, I might eat these words because BSG does some buck wild shit, but I'll say the clippable thing. There's no way they don't do it that way. Like, you can't mix. You can't.
Yeah, no.
That's not allowed.
Yeah,
okay?
No.
So they have to be separate.
They have to be separate. For a million different reasons, but yeah, they have to be separate.
Now there is a world where any of the things we talked about, whether it's some implementation where they aren't separate, or what you described where there's changes that are happening on both that are like dynamic and interesting, or like what I said, which is like really all of the changes and the focus needs to be on the new hotness, which is the seasonal stuff, and really the old stuff should just be left there to like rot effectively, which is like the selling point. Like, shit's not going to change.
Yes, that is the selling point.
Yeah, you got the conservatives and you got the progressives, right? You give them their own. But if we've learned anything over the years in game design, it's that even crazy, wild ideas, if done, imagine a movie where you know, every movie these days is made with a fucking $50,000 red camera, blah 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 blah, and all this ultra. Imagine a movie where the people are walking around with a handy cam, and it's low res, lo-fi bullshit, and that's such a stupid thing. Well, no, you can take a dumb idea on its face and design something in a way that's like fucking genius.
Yeah,
you know. So any of these things, we could be surprised with some really unique take on it that we just didn't expect, that we didn't think of.
For sure. Certainly.
But chances are they'll design the thing that is easily done well in a way that's profoundly stupid, that is still somehow surprisingly dumb.
You know what? I just put it all together. You know why?
Old.
You know why I brought up that point earlier about them doing events and shit on both sides, and why I didn't want to admit until you walked me into it that the seasonal will be the main thing? You know why? Like, deep in my soul, like I was.
It can't just be because I'm always right about everything.
I was saying these things without realizing really why until just now when it clicked. It's because I don't fucking want seasonal to be the main thing, because they fuck up the main thing. If it's the main thing,
it's by definition bad.
No, if it's the main thing, then that means Arena has to be connected to it every possible way. If it's the main thing, then that means Icebreaker and Labyrinth are going to be there. It's like everything, like the rotting flesh of main Tarkov, of years and years and years of decisions on decisions on decisions, just eroding the economy, eroding any like meaningful progression where you have to go find that thing, motherfucker, instead of just doing the PvE Icebreaker or going to Labyrinth or playing Arena. All that shit, what I wanted to do was close that door behind me.
So different. So different.
I wanted to close that door behind me, and I wanted to be like, you know what? Over here, though, side bay, seasonal, we don't need any of that. But you're so fucking right. That's not how they're going to do it. Shame on me for thinking of that. Seasonal is going to be the main bay, which means seasonal's going to get all the arena crossovers. Seasonal's going to have Icebreaker and Flice Flaker and some other stupid ass, fuck ass, bitch ass way to get all the gear and all the ammo and all the armor with no risk. And you're right. And that makes me sad. And that's why, like, I just realized that's where all that came from. I want to leave all that over there, bro. And I want to have a place where the only way you get gear is you click a map, you click deploy, and you find that shit. I got fried because Nikita, he confirmed that Arena will be connected to Seasonal. And all I said was like, my tweet was like, still super stoked for Season 1, but I'm a little bummed that Arena is connected. I would have loved a place where the only way to progress in Tarkov was play Tarkov. And I got fucking fried. You know what I mean? For like that tame of a take, for just being like, I mean, I don't like it, don't play it, brother. Nobody. It's just like, fuck. But the thing is, you're right. Like, you are right. This will be main bay. They will leave the other game behind, and they will bring all of these decisions with them. And you know what? And maturing is realizing that what Tarkov has become is just probably not my next 10,000 hours worth of gaming. I still love playing. I still love gaming with the boys. I'm still excited for Season 1, but I just, maybe I'll be on fucking Hunger and WARDOGS, and I'll come back for like the first 2 weeks of each season when it's mwah. And yeah, I don't know.
No, you know what? What the mwah is going to be 6 months into Season 1 on the non-seasonal servers.
Dude, honestly, it might be. That might be like fucking
because
sick.
What you're craving is old Tarkov, in that you want, when you want something new, what you mean is you want to feel like the first time you ever like kissed a girl. Brother, no kiss ever feels like that. You know what I mean? Right? Like, yeah. Your heart has never raced harder than that, right?
Yeah.
The first time you got your hand up under a shirt and you're like, yes, bro, fucking first base, it's coming. I can't wait to tell my homies. Like, you want that again.
See, like, yes.
And you can't have that.
Yes and no. Like, I reject half of that. Like,
yeah, that, I don't know, that metaphor got away from me.
No, I do, like, basically, I kind of want to defend myself here. What I want isn't just old Tarkov. I actually want new.
No, what I mean is the feeling that you got when you played old Tarkov.
Yes, not even necessarily that. I want to feel good at Tarkov. I want to have grown in Tarkov. I want to not be quite as scared. I just want the cool shit they've added in a world that has the philosophy of old Tarkov. We've talked about this ad nauseum, so it's not worth getting into, but it's like Tarkov postures as hardcore, and we know that they've like bastardized that so much. Like, Tarkov has no problem killing you and taking your stuff, but getting that stuff back has never been easier. And so it's like, I want all of the new content and the new quality of life stuff, and just in a world where, like, if you could...
But why? But no, dig one layer deeper. Why do you want it to be hard to get stuff?
Because that's more fun.
Well, but because of the way it feels when you find a thing when it's rare.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean when I say
but I'm
old
not
Tarkov.
just
What I mean
chasing
is you
the
want to feel something again.
Yes, I do. But yeah, something. But that something isn't just old Tarkov. I don't want it. I don't just want it to feel like the first time I found a LEDX. I'm okay with it feeling like the 100th time I found a LEDX if a LEDX is rare. Like if you play 10,000 hours of Counter-Strike and then you could start buying a battle pass that allows you to start round 1 of Counter-Strike with an op and all the stuff. Even though you have 10,000 hours, it fucked up what Counter-Strike is. And then if every time you were like, damn, I wish they would change it back, you were like, oh, you want to go all the way back into like 2018, back when Counter-Strike was like, no, not necessarily. I don't want just like old Counter-Strike again. What Counter-Strike has changed.
Yeah, no, and well, that's what I'm saying is that like it's about, I don't mean like literally, I'm talking about abstract. I mean like literally what old Tarkov was, and I don't mean literally how you felt. I don't want you to feel scared and to be like, your sensitivity is too high. It's that you want to feel fucking anything when anything happens.
Yes.
That's
100%.
what I mean, is that you want the game to matter, and none of the decisions or design, it's never mattered.
100%.
And that's what I mean is old Tarkov mattered.
Yes, 100%.
And at some point it stopped mattering.
Exactly.
And they can implement a million ways in which the game now, with all of the new stuff, can matter.
Yes. And that's what I want out of seasonal. And you're so fucking right that it's going to go the opposite way. And exactly. And you're 100%. Now that we're like aligned on what you're talking about, 100%. And that's what I truly want, is to Tarkov to feel the way it felt back then with all the stuff that's come to Tarkov over the past few years.
You want to feel like a god and have things matter.
We have more maps. We have more mechanics. We have more reasons to do things. It's just that as those things got added, easy paths to get them all were. So it's like, there's actually some alternate universe where we have hot dog fingers where like all of the content is still in Tarkov in terms of like what we have, but it all matters because all of the auxiliary content that just feeds you an unlimited amount of gear and progression, if that's not there, oh fuck that. Now we're talking, baby. Now we're talking.
And now we're getting back into like, change the found and raid system. Now we're back to every conversation we've ever had over and over again.
Yeah.
Because like no amount of like new bosses or maps or mechanics will ever change the underlying implicit base design decision of why do I want as a player immersed in this world to do anything?
Yeah.
And why should I care when anything gets in my way or any decisions I have to make, or any of the losses or costs or any of that? Why should I care?
And they've
never addressed it.
I've felt that. Like, I think that's going to be, I'm so interested to see, like, if you come back to Tarkov for the subathon, like, depending on how long you play, I'm so interested to see if you get to the point where you realize this, where it's like, I think my survival rate, I'm going to try not to exaggerate. I think that over the past 10 days, my survival rate, 10 days of playing Tarkov, is probably in the 25% range. And I'm printing money hand over fist. That's the world we live in.
Because I remember the last time I was playing, like, sort of regularly.
Yeah.
Not playing, like, meta, not trying to be, like, and playing totally solo, and what I thought was like playing smart, and like, I wasn't completely like cooked or whatever. I had like a 30, but somewhere between like a 30 and 50% survival rate, and it was like I couldn't possibly have been purging money faster.
And because the way the like the loot economy works is like, it's just about securing enough shit in your ass that it doesn't matter. Like,
wow. So there's enough value in non-found in raid stuff in your pouch.
Well, because you don't have to. The flea market is no longer found in raid. You don't have to sell. Yeah, that's a mind fuck for you. The found and raid system currently only exists to fuck up the quest design because the original reason it was added, which is to kill the flea market arbitrage, is just not in the game anymore. But anyway,
wait, so ostensibly, if they had like another wipe, we'd have another Pestily 2.0 with Solewas going up on the flea market for
we had that immediately.
800,000 rubles on day one.
Oh, well, the way that they curtail it now is you don't gain full access to the flea market until level 40. You gain access to the flea market at level 15, but there's some arbitrary restriction of things you can and cannot buy or sell until level 20, then 25, then 30, then 35, then 40. So like you can't do like
design.
stims. It's like, yeah. Anyways, that's not even what I was going to say. What I was going to say is, so like, for example, right now the marked keys, like dorms marked and stuff like that, spawn enough in the world that a marked key is about like 5 million rubles. But every time you open the door, you get 2 million rubles worth of stuff that can fit in your ass. Like yesterday, I opened a marked.
Wow, really? Last time I played, you opened it 100 times, and one time you would get 5% of what the key was worth.
Yesterday, I opened a marked key on
I don't know what's worse.
Streets. I got a green Labs card, a red Labs card, a blue Labs card, and a red Rebel.
In the room?
In the room, and a red Rebel. So I shove all that up my ass, and then now, if I die 4 raids in a row, I'm broken even. But what I'm going to do next raid is go back to the key.
And that's if you...
So you can die all the time and never stop making money.
Do you ever see any hatchet runners?
No.
You probably don't need... So, because back in the day, there was no way...
Yeah. You know why you would see hatchet runners? Because you could get poor. You can't get poor.
Like now that the hatchet runner who's like, the only way I can make money is by getting free stuff, like free Bitcoin or whatever from like the safe, and then insta die. So it's like, 30% of the time I get a few 100,000 rubles, but I don't ever risk anything.
Yeah.
That's how I can make a nest egg to where I can start maybe with gear. Now those guys are like, I've got so much money from the shit I put in my butt that I could just wear the stuff I was too afraid to wear because I couldn't afford it.
And once again, and anytime you
better
want,
or worse, I don't.
And anytime you want, you can go Icebreaker, which is PvE, so there's no threat of PvP. I love Icebreaker, by the way. I'm not anti-Icebreaker, but what I'm saying is the reality is, anytime you want, you can queue Icebreaker. You don't have to worry about PvP, and you can walk out of there with another 2 to 5 million rubles worth of stuff, 200,000 XP. 1460 stacks of 855 ammo, level 5 armor, level 5 plates. So even if you bought the marked key and you kept dying on your way to the marked room and lost the marked key, and we're never able to get it and you're down money, you can PvE, queue that map, and print an unlimited amount of money. So what happens is so this is where we're at with Tarkov. No key in the game matters except a key for your quest or marked keys. Because like
310 or whatever.
Correct,
like none
right?
of those...
Because like East 222 was the place to go to farm LEDXs. But you knew you'd have to turn that key 20 times to get a LEDX. Yeah. Why would you do that if you could go Icebreaker and get 10x the value of a LEDX from there, or you could turn a marked key and get 3 labs colored key cards? So literally no keys in the game functionally exist except ones you need for your quest or marked keys.
And Shoreline key runs was
my favorite, dude.
Was so awesome.
Yeah, it was my favorite. So
that's going to be like really sad because like I used to like and see like, so now the
flow of raids is really weird now. You like, as someone who...
that was the only good part was like going... Like some of my favorite things were going and killing everybody in factory, or going and doing my East Wing, West Wing, Shoreline full thing, or going to wherever I spawned, getting and opening up customs mark room back when it was like, there was a 30% chance of the boys being there, and the marked room loot was like. There'd be a key bar or like a docks case, which were the only containers that were like ever excited. There weren't like 80 million injector cases and shit. And you couldn't buy them, from traders, or it was, and then later it became the reserve raider like cheeky,
Yep.
but going through because it felt at least like methodical, whereas like I have
For sure,
a
yeah.
set route I can go through, and then labs, when labs was like playable and you could go through and swipe all of your key cards. If you had like 9 key or maybe five or 6 key cards, and you could make it through a labs run and go to every room and open it up, and that was like that was like a good balance of like risk to reward.
It was.
You had to be good enough to like make money, but that was like that existed in a very. They can only balance like I'm just fully convinced that they can only balance this game in such a way that like 3% of the gamers at a very specific play style and skill level can exist in the teeter-totter of the seesaw where they're like just making like 5-10% profit.
Yeah.
There are either people who are always losing and then need to like do some bullshit to farm, and then always losing and then bullshit to farm. They feel like they play, farm, play, farm, farm. Or it's more like play, farm, play, farm. Or it's like you're just fucking play farming.
Yeah.
Because you're just going in and carelessly killing everything.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So it's like, it's just such a weird... Dude, you remember when going to a marked room and getting an RSAS was huge because it was for Gunsmith 10 or whatever, and you were like, fuck,
God.
I found my RSAS. Like
that was the only place you get RSAS was like was the marked room in customs, or there was like one room in dorms. Sorry, in Shoreline, it was like 210 or something. Where the RSAS could be on the bed.
Yep. Yeah, and so it's like the economy is such that no valuable thing sells for more on the flea market than it sells to the trader for. So like in my first 9,000 hours of in my first 9,000 hours of playing Escape from Tarkov, I found exactly 2 red key cards. I've sold 10 red key cards to therapists this week. And they sell
and I bet you going to the red key card room has never been less exciting or less viable.
Correct.
Because it's probably either infinite cheaters, or, and I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just assuming that labs is still full of cheaters and the loot probably isn't that great.
The loot's not that, well, it's once again, it's all relative. If Icebreaker and Labyrinth didn't exist, labs would be a good map for loot. But like you cannot comprehend, like Veritas, you can't comprehend how much loot is on Icebreaker. In less than 5 minutes from...
I've only ever seen the one clip you sent me with like the jiggle peeking. I don't know anything else about the map.
In less than 5 minutes from spawning, like you can have a LEDX and more stims than exist in all of the labs rooms combined. The
only reason why they can justify that is because they have busted AI.
Well, no, there it is. They just don't justify it. Well, they have no reason to justify it. There is no justification. It's just cool. It's just fucking sick to have a place like it's cheap, right? It's a cheap high. It's like your justification for spraying spray paint into a brown bag and huffing it is that for 6 seconds it feels good. And so like Icebreaker feels good. It's fun as fuck to like print money.
Well, but is that but there's a difference because the people who made the spray paint didn't intend that.
Yeah,
this metaphor actually works, I think. Is it the case that BSG were like, we're gonna put all this loot there, but we're gonna add this like giga hard AI, and therefore it's worth it? But like people figured out a way to cheese the AI, and so in that case, the result, like people figured out one day they sprayed the fucking spray paint in a closet and they got fucked up, and then everybody now is doing the meta like huffing.
They've made the AI on Icebreaker easier. They fixed some of the cheeses, but they like tuned down the AI, so there wasn't really like a hard stance for them on like keeping the Black Division unkillable.
Is it like harder than...
Maybe. The answer to the question is that may be the justification where they're like, we're gonna make a place that has like infinite loot, but it's also They basically, there's a chance that they made the calculation that you would only have a 10% survival rate on Icebreaker, so that would make the math work out. They just grossly underestimated that.
Yeah, don't try to explain something with like motives when you can explain it with incompetence.
Yeah. Insert quote
like
here,
as someone who hasn't played in 3 years, the idea that BSG would have something in the game that felt good.
Yeah. I do.
That to me is instantly like, that can't be it, because the moment anyone's ever been like, yo, this is sick, I love this, they're like, oh, crank that down, crank that up. Well, now it feels like shit. And Nikita's like, boom.
I can give them the benefit of the doubt that they thought they were balancing the risk, because you also, like, in order to go to Icebreaker, you have to pay, like, you know how you need a labs card to go to labs, which is effectively just a money sink. That's just 160,000 rubles you turn in, right?
Yeah.
In order to go to Icebreaker, you have to pay 400,000 rubles. So it's a higher cap.
But there's no cap. Because at least back in the day, there were times where it's like, I want to go labs, but I can't buy the key cards and I can't find them.
It's just 400K liquid, so you can just keep doing it forever. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they thought they could balance it.
Man, imagine if it was something you could only do like twice a day, like there was a cooldown like a scav run.
Yeah. Well, I just think
then at least it would make it exciting to go there, even if
certainly, but I think it's other things. I think it's the other conversations we've had, which is they have not given themselves enough knobs to turn with the AI to balance them. And they've, it's that thing we talked about. They painted themselves into a corner. The bosses had to be harder than the scavs. The raiders had to be harder than the bosses. The rogues had to be harder than the raiders. The black division had to be harder than them. And then Wedge has to be harder than the black division. And if they only have reaction time and accuracy, then, that just becomes, so it's partially that, so that Icebreaker didn't feel functionally different than just learning how to kill Killa. It was just, let's learn how to black division. Like, I think I told you, on the Icebreaker, the first 72 hours after Icebreaker came out, I lost 50 million rubles. Yeah. 1 week later, I was up 100 million.
Now, was there a patch in between?
There were a couple, but none of, mostly just fixing bugs.
So what changed? Was it that you figured it out?
We figured it out. We figured out how to live 90% of the time. Yeah, that was it. We just figured it out.
But see, imagine if there wasn't a way to figure it out.
Yeah, if it was a
then imagine if they made it, 10% easier or whatever. Well, then you'd be breaking even 50% of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
and
whatever.
Then the second thing is the loot inflation paradox, which is that they have constantly said, hey, in order to get people to come try our new thing, we're going to make it the best place for loot. And that has also painted themselves into a corner because, what does a LEDX mean when you found 20 of them today?
It's just a ruble per slot. That's everything. They could get rid of. Imagine if they just got rid of all of the items and they just made it a label, just a text. You hit T in Photoshop and you click and it was just 120,000 rubles.
Yeah.
And everything was just that.
So if it was exactly. So it's
oh my God, like that Daniel Mullins game where it was all just Zork mids or whatever, and it was meaningless, whatever, and you were just clicking and you could still play the game.
Yes,
It's that.
So it's so that's how we get to the point where it's there's a 3% spawn for a LEDX in East 222. There's a 75% spawn for one in the very first room you walk into in Icebreaker. So what does that mean? What does that mean for how Shoreline plays? What does that mean for the economy of the game? What does that mean for how the average person perceives the average piece of loot? What does that mean for the type of loot that's in filing cabinets? What does that mean for just think about the implications of that. And then that's where we are. Once again, I think Icebreaker is fun. I've never besmirched it as the PvE map. I think the people that are against it as just for PvE, I'm just saying it's the same fucking thing we talked about the cops. I'm just here to say, hey, can we take a look at the first, second, and third order effects of turning the dial to 11? I'm not saying BSG are evil people. I'm not saying Icebreaker isn't fun. I'm just saying that for the past couple of months, the economy has been Niagara fucking Falls, and that has second and third order effects on the game.
Well, bro, what do you expect? It's in beta. They're still all they're doing. What do we expect when we got a decade of them being like, listen, things are fucked, but like we're just figuring it out.
Yeah.
The thing is that at no point did they ever go, hey guys, we figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just the way it's gonna be.
And I was coping that they were like, hey,
like when the first season starts, that there's gonna be no loot there, and the AI is gonna be 5% harder than it is now.
Yeah.
And so nobody will ever go there.
Yeah.
And it'll just be the new labs or shoreline or customs or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that was the final hoodwink they got on me. Was for a brief moment I was convinced they had figured it out, but it was too hard to fix in the main Tarkov, so they were gonna fix it for seasonal.
Well, no, it was that we're gonna fix it in 1.0.
Well, I never believed that. That was what people were saying, but I didn't truly believe that was going to happen. But they did get me with seasonal.
They had you with seasonal?
They had me with seasonal.
But wait a minute. But how do you know you haven't been gotten yet? Because it hasn't been debunked. So maybe, bro.
No,
huff the copium.
No, you know what really happened here? It's not huffing the copium. It's that I was mid huff, and this conversation yanked it out of my hand, and I went, thank you. I
gave you pre-nut clarity.
Yeah, you gave me pre-nut clarity. Like I was about to relapse, and you slapped the beer out of my hand, and
That's what I'm good for. Everybody sees the they see the little gold sliver, and they're like, oh, Bitcoin. Oh, it's just a guitar pick, and they get pre-nut clarity.
Yeah, you are the greatest cuck in Tarkov.
I am such a dude. I have been known to be a bit of a boner killer in my day. Don't ask me how I know.
Oh man, that's funny. Genuinely, like I feel sad, but I feel better that we had this conversation, because I really do think like I was making this up in my head that I wanted this to be.
Dude, July 2026, Veritas gives Jesse an epiphany and about Tarkov.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, I gave up on that.
Yeah, dude. I still
got it.
But once again, it's the pre-nut clarity. Like you got me before I got there. You know what I mean? And I appreciate you for that.
This is gonna be the one time I'm wrong.
That would be the greatest thing, right?
And I'm kidding. I've been wrong many times before. Okay, chat. Don't even.
Yeah. Don't.
I'm not.
Nobody that's that mad at you has made it this far in the episode.
They've been typing the angry comment since after the ad read.
They've been typing the angry comment since second 37 when you said, I know more than cops.
When I said I'm a better cop than every cop. Yeah. True. But that one was true, and I was totally serious about it.
Yeah.
And I will duel anybody physically to the death over it.
Dude. Yeah. But I am still excited about Tarkov Seasonal, at the very least, to just like have something to do until WARDOGS comes out. Or Hunger, whichever comes first. WARDOGS did a stream today. Oh yeah, just like super funny, like 2-minute story. I know we're kind of over, but like, okay, so I believe if Marks is here, he can correct me. I believe this is what happened. I think at some point in the past, one of the WARDOGS guy made just like a funny little joke, like a jab at Tarkov, where they were like, there's going to be a $250 version of Tarkov, like memeing on the Unheard, and it's going to come with a golden dong. Like it was just a joke, right? Well, then Marks sent, like, that was like a joke that happened in the past. And then Marks sent them like mail to their office, and it was like a shirt that says like best community manager ever and something else. And then in it was a golden dong, a golden dildo. And they opened it up and they laughed, and they all laughed. But they know.
I looked up the legal definition of harassment earlier, and there was one of the line items was like a thing. I'm like, I don't know how that would ever be a thing. What you just described is
sending somebody.
Continue.
So, but they know Marks is like in the Kazam fam. So then on Twitter, they posted a picture of the dildo and tagged me and was like, "Did this come from you?" And I was like, fucking no, bro. I was like, I didn't know anything about that.
The War Dog devs for the second time throwing you under the bus.
Yeah, dude. And then on stream today, I don't know if we have this confirmed as why this was happening, but they did a live stream today where they were like, the devs were playing the game. So like up until now, most of the videos we've seen have just been like marketing material. So they went live today and the devs were playing in a full serval for like 2 hours, right? To just like show off some gameplay. During that, they were throwing the dildo around at each other.
Oh, it's like a floppy?
Yes.
I pictured like a statue.
While we're watching the stream, black screen, pop up, this account is no longer eligible to stream on Twitch. They got banned on Twitch live while they were streaming their marketing thing. And the only reason people could think is like, because they're throwing the dildo around and somebody like, my thought was if you get reported for like sexual harassment, it's like an automated thing. It just gets you so that then they can review it. But I think they got it reversed and then they went live like an hour or two later. But it was just like, I somehow got caught up in the in the dong gate. WARDOGS is what it's called now. Oh, they were streaming on Twitter. So they got the 24-hour Twitch ban. Oh man.
Yeah. I was just looking at the harassment. Paragraph 1 communicates means to impart a message by any method of transmission, including but not limited to telephoning or personally delivering or sending or having delivered any information or material by written or printed note or letter, package, mail, courier service, electronic transmission, including electronic transmissions generated or communicated via computer, and then like making there you go. So man. Knowingly communicates any matter of a character tending to incite murder, assault, or arson. Golden dildo, I think qualifies.
Yeah. So that's funny. But yeah. So that's it. That is it. There's a chance. What's today? Today is the 23rd.
My God,
there's a very real chance that next week I'll be playing seasonal, and we'll figure it out. What?
I got the crazy prediction as to what I thought you were gonna say when you started that sentence, and I got excited.
What? What did I say?
Oh man, we just had. Did you ever see Bruce Almighty? This is like triply relevant. What just happened was, you just invited me to dinner, and it was like a big, like a serious dinner, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna propose. And what you did is you're like, I got Anchor.
I know where this is going.
I thought you were gonna say.
I know where this is going.
I thought you were gonna say, there's a good chance that like next week I might have like 2 hours to watch Good Will Hunting with Veritas, for the Patreon. I thought he was gonna say that. But instead, you just said, I got Anchor. And now...
To be fair, all I said was there's a good chance next week I'm going to be playing seasonal. Listen, there's a chance that can happen. I am finally back to normal because I told you on Monday that our AC shit was only halfway back. And then they had to come out
on a prayer.
They had to come out 2 different times this week. And now I think it's all the way back. So I'm finally getting back to like some sense of normalcy in the house with the family, which is great. So that means that there might be time. I need to write it down on my notepad. I have a notepad of things.
Someone has to someone will donate the amount of money that can make up for 2 hours of like starting a stream on like a Tuesday, 2 hours later than normal. There's a monetary value there that like we should set a fucking donation goal for Jesse's personal PayPal account.
It's $10,000.
True. You just make it so it's like it's there. It's so out of the realm of possibility, but there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Like, yeah, for $5,000, I'll shave my beard. Remember that?
Oh, I've said
when
that.
I literally made $5,000.
Yeah. Was that during your charity stream?
No, that was like way before.
Oh.
That was like not even. I don't know what that was for. That was like old. I was in that room over there. It's when I had like my glass before I shattered my glass desk. That was like with fucking, my God, Kestrel Bird, man.
Do you
It's been
take
so long.
Do you take Robux? Yes. I do take Robux.
Anything he can convert to crypto, he'll take.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Jesse's a big
big
hodler.
Big hodler.
Giant hodler.
Yeah, if you have any extra Trump coin laying around, let me know.
If you have a Trump phone that you can use as a...
Yeah.
Never mind. I forgot the main cast is still going, isn't it?
Yeah.
We haven't,
Yeah,
we haven't said goodbye yet. Shit. I like literally my brain was in the post podcast mode.
Yeah, the post.
Forget I said anything.
Clarity. Thank you guys for hanging. If you want even more content like this and you want to know what Veritas was going to say, you can go to the Patreon, patreon.com/thepodcastpod, where you can get early ad-free access to these episodes and additional episodes we do every single week over there. Thank you to Rage for sponsoring this episode. Thank you for being here and being beautiful. And we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
How do you like them apples?